Evening everybody. As you can see, you can tell what that is just by the look. It's red. It's a Ferrari. La Ferrari. A brand new set, just landed yesterday, and I've had a bit of a delay videoing this one due to work going on next door making a noise, so obviously can't do it with that going on. So what we got then, 782 parts for 10 plus years. French set, we've got the tear off strip, which I was told was going to cease being done, and it was all going to have the normal sort of stuck down flaps which you get from sets made in China. But it's still here. It's a weighty set, it really is, considering the undoubtedly lots of new plastic parts. It's about 80 quid it worked out. I only got it from Amazon France. Yes, there's the only place I could find this one, and the Lamborghini Aventador. Now I'm not sure, maybe the Aventador is maybe not a set that's going to be issued over here. I don't know. This one, well, Ferrari seem to have a general appeal, don't they? Everybody sort of likes them, and I do, but everybody likes them, so therefore I have actually sort of like preferred really to get my hands on the Lamborghinis. But anyway, we'll start with this one. So it's a very weighty box, solid box as usual. Around 80 quid, it was just a few pence over, and I think it was free post, and it came with one of the Lamborghinis as well. So one thing I have noticed, now for some months the Meccano community website, that's Meccano's own community social media, although Meccano orientated website, has been unavailable, and I have been told a few things about it which I can't repeat, I'm afraid. However, what I have noticed that there is no mention on this box at all, so I think we can sort of say that that website's no longer going to be done, or maybe there's going to be a new version. I do hope so, because it was little used, but give it more promotion and more coverage, and hopefully it would have got used. I did post stuff myself occasionally without wanting to hog it, which was very easy considering the little use it got. Anyway, so back to this Ferrari. What have we got? We've got suspension. I dare say we've got steering as well, but I can't quite work that out yet. We've got opening doors as per the real things, real working flip-up doors. What else? Let's have a look. What is it? There's so much on this one. The Lamborghini box is a bit more elaborate on the detail of what the model does in relation to features. Just looking on the box, if this is as the model itself, of course sometimes the pictures can be from prototype images, we have got some hinges by the looks of it, and we're going to have a lot of the new plastic parts. We'll call them flip-flop parts, shall we? And nice things though, useful things that is, the windscreens and the door, having the windows, that can be quite a useful part, I should think. And I'm not sure whether it's this set, but I'm going to say it now, and I don't know to the extent of, are you ready? Plastic nuts. That, if it's in the majority, will be a complete and utter turn off to me, but let's leave any comments till we find out what's going on. In this position it does look a little like it's a half empty box, and most of the time that is the case, but actually this one isn't too bad. If you can imagine this being flat, some parts up there, so yes, it would be partly empty, but by modern standards not too bad. I think we've got some loose parts, or the bag has ripped somewhere. Now let's get out the way. We know we're going to have some good bagging, and we know we're going to have some excessively large bags. So let's have a look at some of these bags here, see what we've got, anything that's really different or new. Can't see a lot there. Odd 1/4 inch hole parts, but nothing spectacular in there. What's this one? red. Now of course the red colour will go very nice. A lot of people like the red. You've got several sets in recent years that have had the red, going back what, 5 to 10 years I suppose. The Red Arrow set and the little fire truck set, which was it's probably no more than about 18 months old, if that. So there's that, and then we got those are metal as well, not plastic. So that's good. That's very good. We don't want too much plastic, do we, people? Even though I dare say it's cheaper. Right, in here, what have we got again? On the face of it, got to see all this writing on. We've got some black 1/4 inch spaced parts, and all pretty much common stuff. I'm going to move these because they'll probably fall off if I don't. Right, this big bag, quite nice really to see a bag like that all big. Of course there's tyres in. We can see some plastic parts on the face of it. We can see, I think I can see some newer parts. The flip-flop parts, of course, which I suppose are new, but so far from what I've experienced they're just replacements or alternatives to other flexible parts or narrow parts. So I'm going to put that one to one side. We'll come back to that bag. What have we got here? We have stickers. Ferrari, get down. Ferrari stickers. Some red. What was the name of those again? I can't remember. Quick snaps, there we go, quick snaps. Push-in rivets, whatever you want to call them. Here we've got some 5.5 inch narrow, 5.5 inch narrow, standard 5.5 inch strips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, look longer than 5.5 inch. So these are quite handy. I think these have probably been in the Evolution helicopter set, but quite long curved 1/4 inch spaced strips there. Looking at it, some of the zinc does look a bit thin. Gives a tarnished feel. Not all of it. I suppose that's pretty always the case really. Some of it's good, some of it isn't. And I've said this before, the Chinese stuff does seem to have better zinc. Right, we've got I haven't noticed any bags that are empty, but we've got several parts loose in the box. Again, that's not unusual these days. So there we are. Nothing at all uncommon there. We've got loads of nuts and bolts there, and spacers. I don't know what they mean by plastic nuts, because all those are metal. Perhaps it's one of the Lamborghini sets, but certainly one of the new car sets. Anyway, right, get that out the way. Instruction book. Let's oh, another loose part. Let's get the box out the way a bit, down on its back so it doesn't fall over. Instruction book. Now, what's disappointing? Well, on a set at this price, you'd expect it to be in a plastic sleeve. It isn't. Therefore, it has got a little bit crease before we started. Not a lot, and it'll get a lot worse than they're in use. It's nowhere near as thick as the Meccano one, which is still being built. It's about 2/3 built now, I suppose. So that'll be coming soon, just in case you're wondering what happened to that. I've been a bit delayed on the build. That's got, I think, 120 odd sections to it. Well, this actually got more sections to it, up to 156 there, which is only putting on the little hubcaps, ends of the hubcaps, which is a nice feature to finish it off with some detail, making it more of a model than a toy, I suppose. And I suppose this is more aimed at that market as more as a toy, as something that you build and collect, I suppose. But of course, it's all compatible, so nothing to worry about there. Before we get into the parts, though, this book doesn't feel as good quality. It feels a bit thinner paper, and the print isn't as glossy as the Meccano. But of course the Meccano is a Chinese made set. This is French. Maybe that's the difference. Certainly, as I said, the difference with the zinc parts. So, okay, as per the norm, we got the tips on building, doing using nylock nuts and what have you, and all sorts of things like that. And of course, this is only a one model set. There's no alternatives in the set. It is a licensed one. So you got the Ferraris, you got the Lamborghinis, the Ducati Monster motorbike. They're all licensed products with the companies who make the real things, and that's a good thing. And of course, there's the Thunderbird 2 as well, which is licensed to ITV Studios, or from. So, what we're more or less getting is a standard now. We're getting pretty clear instructions. I just seen something. It makes me laugh really. Sometimes we get, as I found with the Meccano, some of the orientation's a bit wonky, and you think, well, which way is that part or not? And it ain't really quite good enough. And only occasionally, not every section. And we've moaned about in the past, well I have, for example, no white outlining of the black parts in the parts inset models. Well, we can see, yet again, we've got them in this one as well. That, as I said before, that's good. And that is a really helpful addition or alteration. And other things you think, well, why did you bother doing that? And the detail they've gone to this. Look at this. Look at this strip here. This narrow strip. They've actually gone to the trouble of actually putting Meccano on it as well. So it's like they've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous in a way. But yeah, we must show the name off. We must show the name off. It's a common gripe, I suppose, really, or comment. You know, sometimes the Meccano stamps on the parts are a bit thin or not at all. And I always try. I never used to. I used to find that one side was slightly rounded, just ever so slightly shaped, say on a strip, than the other. So I'd fit flat to flat, totally flat to flat. A bit like the washers, it's slightly domed, isn't it, a washer? And try and use it to the best orientation for what you were doing. But now I've changed. I was talking to a chap at last year or the year before's Tim's, Telford and Armbridge Meccano Society at Blissstill, and he said that's what he does, always show the name off. And that's what I try to do, and of course if it's not there you can't. So let's get that done better. Looks quite, and I wouldn't say involved, but intricate in some ways. The chassis, or part of the chassis. That's the front suspension, I think, by the looks of it. No. Yes, no, I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out when we build it. Looks like quite an involved, I mean, we're still on the chassis. It is the front, yeah, we're still on the chassis here, we're up stage 40. So it looks like a lot of the work is in the chassis and all the add-on bits. Now I'm just looking at the suspension and the steering to try and see if it has got steering. I've already spotted a rack and pinion, so it must have steering. Unless the rack is used in the suspension, of course. There's quite a lot going on, or shown in some of the sections of the build, but of course only a little bit of that is being done in the section. Because of the size of the chassis, say take this one for example, because of the size of it, in effect they are quite small. I don't know whether that would have been better to just show a small picture of the chassis, as they normally do, and then a large insert. Much to the same they've done here with this little way of doing things. You've got a blow up basically, showing you exactly how things go. I think perhaps a bit more could have been made of that, but I don't know, we'll find out when we build it, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, you know, overall it's the general, what we've come used to over the last couple of years. It's pretty clear on the face of it, and again we'll never find out the problem before we get to building it. So we'll skim through now right to the back, and we'll have a look at the parts list, which is again the norm. I've got to try and remember the price of nuts and bolts, haven't I? I'll remember one day. Of course the parts don't look very red on there, do they? They're a little bit brown, but I think we can work that out. Yeah, nuts. Plastic nuts. Yeah. Looking at it, I'm not sure what this is. I think you see that there. It looks a bit different from usual. See there. Now that could be one of the small rubber grommets, but I'm not sure. A259. It probably is. So don't hold me to that. And looking at the parts, there's a lot of new shaped, or some new shaped parts. At least I haven't seen them yet. These here, these here, that one. Now I've seen that one before. That's in the latest remote control set. Those look new. That looks new, but some of them have certainly been used already in some of the new sets that we've come across. Oh, we've got a UJ by the looks of it. Does look like a UJ. It's very small. There's two of those. I'll have to have a look into that, because I could do some short UJs for a little four-wheel drive project I was thinking of doing. Right then, we have got a rack, two compression springs, two hinges, which in themselves are like £1.50 each, so that's £3 out your 80. There's a rather odd looking. It looks like we've got the ball and sockets in this one. You'll see more about these in a smaller set, but these look very useful. And I'm trying to work out what that is there. Right folks, it's pointless me trying to work out the cost of the nuts and bolts, the standard bolts and nuts, with me trying to talk about them at the same time. To be honest, it's pointless me trying to work out the cost of them when I'm not talking. Anyway, I've worked it out. Just under £17 for all your standard bolts, 118, and all your nuts, 173. Not the nylock nuts, of which there are 14. And much of the rest is pretty much standard stuff, although there'll be a lot of red ones. Don't see a steering wheel. We do have a 1-inch pulley by the looks of it there. Maybe that's going to be some sort of steering wheel. And we've got some discs like things there. I haven't seen them before either. That's a D134. I know it's a new because I started using a D. So one wonders what that is, unless that is a steering wheel, just badly shown. So we'll have a dig in the parts and we'll show you what we think of the odd newer bits. Right, before we get into the bags properly, this is the set laid out, or almost all. I have noticed a few things. What I thought were the little rubber grommets are, there's loads of washers, which is a rarity in a set to get a decent amount of washers these days. Some are better than others. We'll come into the newer parts in more detail. I've seen the little UJs, for example. There's another odd part I haven't seen before. Well, there's several, but there's a couple. But we'll try and dig those out. Of course, your usual tools, and we've got, of course, all these which virtually fill the top of the box. We've got, of course, the wheels and the tyres. Of course, the wheels tyres do take up a lot of room, but there you are. New style wheels to go with the car itself. And then there's this bag, which is predominantly body parts by the looks of it. There's a part in there I haven't seen before as well, or a variation of a part. And a lot of flip-flop parts and some other ones, including the UJs, are in there. So that's all the set there, and of course the manual to go with it. So I think you'll agree it's quite a full box. So here we are folks, with a selection of new parts. I've not put all the new body parts out. They're just flexible plates, aren't they really, or in some cases not as flexible as you think. Mostly plastic there. In fact, I think all the major body parts are plastic. What have we got then? Yeah, well, we've got the new wheels, the same usual size, more or less. I ain't measured one up against the other, but if it's going to be a more scale model, it's going to have to be slightly different, but on the face of it, it looks about the same. Usual tyres for these were a different pattern of alloy wheel there, which is a grey, quite a dull grey really, but yeah, different, solid enough. Nice thing about these, you can actually see through if you want to put some dummy disc brakes in somehow, that sort of thing, or even working disc brakes. Not that there's a lot of room in there, but you know, give a representation. So that's your wheel. A couple of the body parts now. This sort of like T-section piece there, plastic of course. Bendy, yes, but not too much. Sort of a double triangular plate here really. Again plastic, and yes, flexible. On the face of it, they all look reasonably well moulded or laser cut or 3D printed or however they do them. Seems fine. We've got the M on it of course, and Meccano on the other side. Windows. Here's one of the door windows there, like that. Can't see these lasting very long. I don't know, it seems quite traditional I suppose. The see-through plastic stuff, in this case tinted of course, they never seem pretty good, do they? They always seem a bit flimsy and that, and very, I mean, if you tread on that, if you drop it on the floor and tread on that, that's it, that's broken if it's upright. So be careful with those. Nice windscreen. I don't think that's been in anything before like that. I may be wrong with some of the radio control sets, but I can't recall seeing anything exactly like that. Again tinted, and just to prove a point, there you go, not, and then it's tinted. You've seen these before but longer. I don't think there's been any this short. There's your steering rack. And now we've got some very, I can see them being useful, but not in many or any heavy duty models, just because of the size and what they're made out of. Here we've got what appears to be a trailing arm or a drop link maybe for the suspension. So I'm thinking from this position here, might be a top piece actually. You've got mounted here where my fingers are, and there's a ball in the end, ball and socket, and then that will go up and down. And maybe hopefully steering it well, because the ball will obviously turn in the end there. Now we have a ball here. Now in the dinosaur set, for example, the 10 model dinosaur set, you've got ball and sockets, not unlike these, but a little bit larger and got holes in. It was the same idea. Now these are very useful parts. As I say, with these sort of things, they ain't going to take any load, any torque, I wouldn't have thought anyway, or not for very long. So it's very small. I've got to try and get in without knocking the camera and getting it in focus. We'll just push that in there. There we go. Right, so we've got the ball into the socket there, and as you can see, it turns and pivots nicely. So handy part. And that's got holes in as well. Now here's the little UJ, which I suppose only becomes the UJ when you put the ball in. I've already tried this. Yes, it does clip in quite nicely. They ain't going to take long to wear if you are going to use them. Now I presume that's to do with the steering on this car. I'm not sure. Not sure about it. There's still no steering wheel, as far as I can tell. But handy in light use. And here's that weird looking connection here. We have got hole through it to accept an axle or bolt. We've also got 3 sockets on it. You've got one at the top, a longer one, and one either side. Now that looks rather like a gear stick, doesn't it? And you know something, I would have loved that when I built my small Land Rover, my little V8 90, because I was trying to put in parts that replicated, didn't work, but replicated details of the real thing. And if you're going to do a gear stick, well that's alright, but how do you make something smaller at that size look like the transfer box lever? Well, that would have done nicely. Obviously it's meant to put ball and sockets on. We'll find out of course as we go what it's for, and we'll find out when we get there, whenever that will be. And here's the end caps for the wheels by the looks of it. Let's try and get up there. There we are. There you go. Little like Smarty type things, or a bit smaller than that. and looks like the wheel is shaped there in the middle to grip when it's pushed in. Shall we try it? There you go. Oh, that fits nice. That does fit nice. It's a nice little neatening finish, isn't it? So there's some of the parts. Wheel with its insert, little hubcap if you like. Trailing arms or top link, bottom links possibly. Ball. There's your little UJ, or the prop shaft if you like. The funny looking spider type part. Windscreen. Very short rack there. T-section body part, or maybe chassis part, and we've got a part there for the body as well. And we've got this door glass, if you like. Now there's one part I haven't really been able to find, or maybe I have and I haven't noticed that I have. And I'm just going to have a look now to see what it's... no. I have missed one out that I wanted to show you, but the one part, the disc-like part I showed earlier, this part D134 there, that's actually those hubcaps if you like, I've just put in the wheel. Looks a lot darker there, I suppose. I suppose really overall a lot of the images on the parts list do look a lot darker than they ought to be. So there's another part I wanted to show you, which is here we are, this one here, D236. So there you go folks. It may look a little orange in this light, it's quite direct lighting now. On the left is one of the large plastic spacers, same size as Part 59 collar. You've seen them in all colours, in all sorts of sets. The commoners, the day is long, as they say. On the right is this new part, which is pretty much obvious. It's going to be a brake light at a guess, and you'll see it's not solid. It is. Let's hope this focus is alright. Let's try and give you... There you go. Ah, that's better. See, it's sort of recessed there, a bit like a brake drum, you might say, and it's almost see-through, a bit opaque if you like, to give you that look of a brake light, or rather the glass, or plastic these days of course, but the lens if you like. So that's those as well. So those are, as far as I know, brand new as well. So there you go folks, the Meccano Maker System La Farrari set from brand spanking new, just arrived, with a few of the new parts on display. Well, that's nearly all the set, because you've got the stickers as well, and you've got the rest of the wheels and tyres, and of course you've got the instruction book, which is well, pretty much very good. It's almost as good as usual. A little bit dull, a little bit small on some of the images, but the true test will be in the build. And 80 quid, which I suppose it's £79.99 really, is the RRP. So 80 quid posted from France. Looks alright at the moment. Plenty of parts, a lot of new parts, a lot of interesting, useful new parts. And we'll see how it goes. Bye for now.